Always good to be at the racetrack, especially here at Lincoln Speedway once again. And tonight, the first time in quite some time, the Super Sportsman are on the racing program. And we're standing here with Rich Eichelberger. Rich, always good to have you and the Sportsman guys here at Lincoln.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you having us here. We always like to come to Lincoln to race. Good crowd, good fans. Usually a good track, so yeah, we're happy to be here.
You had a good run last Saturday night. Finished, I believe, in the second position.
We did, and it was good and bad. We came up from the back and took the lead and was leading, but then I gave it up with 2 or 3 to go. So that's the bad side of it. The good side of it is the best run we had going here. We were struggling a while, and so yeah, we'll take it.
Absolutely. When you struggle like that, it's so difficult to try and figure out. Everybody says, well, what's wrong? What's wrong? Well, if you knew, it wouldn't be wrong any longer.
Right. You're right. We were looking. We tried a couple different things. And last week, they let us do what we wanted to do. They call it a cheater's night. So we put a big wing on, a 5x5 wing, and that helped. I had a couple other things I was trying out, and everything sort of helped. I went a little too far with the big wing there, and it put a push in it towards the end of the race, but I'm not complaining. We needed that. Everybody needed that good finish.
Absolutely. When you say everybody, of course, the team's been behind you for a long time. Your sponsors and stuff. It's a big team effort, as we talk about all the time in this sport.
Sure is, John. You've been around it long enough too.
Well, speaking of being around it long enough, this is a special year for you, celebrating your 50th year of racing.
It's hard to believe. It goes by that fast. I heard it said that it's like an old cassette tape. At the beginning, the cassette tape goes real slow. When you get close to the end, it's going like crazy.
Well, maybe that's good. That's a good omen. Tonight you'll be going like crazy. You're getting near the end of that at 50 years. But do you remember your first race?
Sure do. It was down at Susquehanna. A race down there, and it was good. I mean, it took us a while. I mean, kids get frustrated, any days. Nowadays, it took me a year till I qualified. Because when the Springs was running, they had 40, 50 cars every night.
Right.
So you just got to stick to it, persevere, and, keep smiling.
Prior to being a driver, were you involved with the race team, or just you were a race fan and you were ready?
I grew up at the Grove. My dad took me out there when the jalopies were running, and then I got hooked on it. And I worked over at the park. My granddad had the shooting gallery and high striker, so I grew up at Williams Grove, and so I'd hear that on Sundays, the big cars there running, and then Dad would take me out for Friday nights, and got hooked on it at a young age. It never left. Bit hard.
Well, it did bite hard, that's for sure, but that's just phenomenal. 50 years. Do you recall your first win?
Yeah, I was down at Susquehanna. Yeah, that was in 1974, 75, I think, down there. We got our first win down there.
When you look back at all the changes in those 50 years, now you, of course, you run the Super Sportsman, you ran the 410s, the 358 sprint cars, you race late models. The changes you've seen, it must be phenomenal.
You know what? The quality of the equipment got better, but when you look at the car, there's still 4 wheels, 4 torsion bars, 4 shocks, wing, they vary. They really don't change a whole lot. Other than the motors. The motors got a lot better. We used to run, maybe 400 horsepower. Now you're up at 550, 600 with these, and 700 with a 380 or with a 358. And so, but it's a consistent deal. It's still, they got a good deal going with the way they're built. And I think the safety has improved the most.
Right.
The safety deal with the seats and the way the cars are constructed with the cages, all that deal, that's what the biggest improvement's been.
And that's probably where the biggest improvement was needed, certainly for the longevity of the sport. But back in the day, people didn't really think of safety so much. It just wasn't at the front of everybody's mind.
Yeah, you're right. You're right there. I mean, until you go through a couple bad situations, right. And you got to live through them, then you start thinking about it.
Let me ask you this. Do you remember your first date?
My first date. Oh yeah, you betcha. Yeah, can't forget that.
And where did you take Nancy?
Oh, to the Grove.
That's right, to the racetrack. Absolutely.
Grove. And she came home and told her mom, "I'm never going out with him again."
But you guys are still married. What a wonderful situation.
51 years there.
51 years of marriage, and she's been there. So she's been there for all this racing.
She retired though from coming to the races when Aaron was racing. He took a terrible flip out at the Grove with non-wing night, and it really upset her. She said, "I can't watch this anymore. I just can't do it anymore." I think it was like 40 years of it. She said, "I'm done." So,
but she's still your biggest supporter for sure.
yeah.
How about the guys on the crew?
Matt Stover, he's a champ. He's an absolute champ. He does it all. I couldn't not race without him. And Renee, his wife, is there. She helps take care of things. We have Harold Leib, from Dwight Leib's youngest brother. He's helping this year. And Gary Bucher, he's driving a truck and helping. So I'm very lucky to have help.
Well, they're very lucky to have you, or I should say we're all very lucky to have you around this sport for 50 years, a real pillar of the sport. And Rich, we want to thank you for taking some time out of your schedule as you get ready to go racing here tonight. Again, welcome back to Lincoln. Good luck in the Super Sportsman. And I know this is probably a question you've been thinking about or people have been asking you about. 50 years, is there any thoughts of retirement?
You always do, especially when you go through some down times.
Right.
You question your ability, and I got some body parts starting to hurt a little bit more, from some old crap.
Don't we all have body parts that are starting to hurt a little bit more?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what comes up. If I would, I think I would still field a team. The 410s has my interest. So. I don't know. We'll see what comes next year.
Well, absolutely. Well, you keep yourself in very good physical condition. And again, great to see you, and we wish you the best tonight and throughout your 50th year of racing.
Well, I hope I get to see you later on tonight.
Over in Victory Lane would be a good place to meet.
Yep. It'll be a big chore. Matt put me in the back here with a pill draw.
We'll have to talk to Stover about that.
Good though. He usually pulls good. Yeah.
Well, we'll cut him a break for tonight then.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Rich Eichelberger, entering his 50th season of racing here in the central Pennsylvania area. Again, he's raced sprint cars, both the 410 and the 358s, late models, but his mainstay has always been the Super Sportsman car, and we're wishing him the best tonight as well as throughout the entire season. Rich is going to do what he's done for 50 years here in a few moments, get in that race car and go racing, the thing he loves to do the most. Thank you.